DeArmond. Welcome in as we are live this morning from Metro Diner along Highway 72 in Madison. This is our good friends, Metro Diner. The reason why we're here, and usually if you follow the show, you know why we're here. It's because it's this week's Zone Deal. Starting at 8 a.m., you're going to be able to get $50 worth of food for $25 to Metro Diner. That's going to be good for the Madison location and the Huntsville location along Airport Road. So all you got to do is visit Zone Deals this morning. And Drew, we always come out here. We always love to talk about the food. And I know we have got so much good stuff to get through this morning. I mean, we have got a ton of good stuff to get through the show. But this is probably about as good as it gets because right now they've got some new items. You can get the blueberry lemon griddles, which are your choice of pancakes or a waffle infused with blueberries and lemon, drizzled with cream cheese icing and powdered sugar, if that's what you want for breakfast.
400 blood sugar.
Or how about the chicken parm sandwich?
Yeah.
Fried chicken topped with hearty marinara sauce and mozzarella served on Italian bread with a side.
That sounds really good.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we're not done. You can get the Sicilian scramble bowl, grilled andouille sausage, scrambled eggs, and a hearty marinara blend with onions and green peppers over hash browns.
Yeah, that sounds really good too. I mean, that's some new stuff. They're always expanding the menu here at Metro Diner here on Highway 72, and Jonathan and his staff do a great job. They let us in here early today, and we've gotten set up. They're going to be that Zone Deal will be live when they open their doors at 8 o'clock. So be ready for that. As we said, you can spend $25 and get $50 of food.
And right now, that's a pretty good deal considering prices and everything else like that. You can take everybody out for dinner tonight if you want to.
Absolutely.
And, have it all done. But we are here at Metro Diner, and maybe as we go along this morning, Jonathan can join the show if he gets a free minute, because this is about the best time. This is about when the bacon starts hitting the grill here in about 15 minutes. And so we get that smell of bacon and all that in the morning, and the coffee. I don't drink coffee, but you can smell the coffee and smell the bacon.
Last time I drank coffee, the next day I fell out. That's all I know.
You stay away from coffee, but you have really made yourself at home here.
I did. I appreciate that. I got me some Coke Zero rolling. They've got Coke Zero here at this fine establishment, and I'm also I know the big topic of the first 15 minutes yesterday was the first time I've used my oven in a year, but I'm very good at cleaning up after myself, and did a great job here today, and I do that at my own place. So I'm kind of one of those guys that I can't stand a dirty kitchen or anything like that. So if you're going to make a drink or make some food or anything like that, at least clean up after yourself,
Well, you're not going to have to clean your oven today because we'll have breakfast here at Metro Diner, and they'll take care of us.
No doubt.
But we have got, like I said, we have got so much good stuff to talk about. We got really two big areas we can go. One, and I'll let you pick where we want to go first. One, we could go with the biggest news in college football that came out yesterday, and that is USC and UCLA, or we can go with Texas A&M, because there was a video that surfaced yesterday that's just going to, where do you want to go? Do you want to go with Texas A&M, or do you want to go with the conference realignment?
Well, I'd rather go with Dirt Neck, considering that Nick Saban should be slapped for saying about a month ago that Texas A&M, which is what they need to be referred to from now on, is that they did not, buy their entire recruiting class with NIL deals.
Yes.
When they've got one of their own people in their organization telling recruits yesterday and pointing up to the suites where the boosters watch from their perch and saying, you're going to get paid a lot of money by these guys if you come here.
The exact words were, y'all getting a lot of money from people behind these suites if you decide to come play here.
Which is a violation.
The exact quote from a football assistant giving a tour.
I don't know if he was an analyst.
We don't know.
People were wondering if he was a player. All I refer to him as is, without question, a member of the organization.
Yes.
And he's pointing to recruits and saying, and then pointing up to the suites and saying, the people behind these, in these suites are going to be paying you a lot of money to come to play here.
Yes.
Which is a direct violation. And as we said on the drive last night when I sat in for West Neighbors, I don't see Dirt Neck all of a sudden calling a press conference trying to scream at everybody about why if this isn't a violation. I mean, why are you? Where are you? I guess he's on the 4th of July holiday. They're probably getting more money into the collective so they can buy more players. But I mean, they and as much as I loved Olin Buchanan of Texags and Billy Lucci, I love those guys. I think they're two of the best in the business. Olin was the first one to ask, Nick Saban at his press conference, like, why did you talk about, or why did you ask, Texas A&M or why did you say they bought their entire recruiting class? This is exactly why he said it, because it happened.
Yes.
I mean, they've basically been trying to deny it the whole time. What have I said repeatedly? Nobody's stupid. Nobody fell off a turnip truck. Okay. Everybody knows what's going on. Okay. And I've had people that I'm in group messages with saying, well, Alabama's boosters need to pony up. They need to start, spending the money. No, you don't. I'm not paying these kids up front before they've ever made a play. I have no problem with High Tide Traditions and other collectives like that. Everybody signs up. You get, 25,000 to 50 grand right up front or whatever. When you do a few little,
right.
Where you got some, some boosters.
Basically,
at
you're
Alabama.
going to take the moral high ground when it comes to recruiting.
And that's what they're
point.
doing. They're setting. It's a collective from Alabama boosters that it's pretty simplistic. You do X, Y, Z. You make some money. But if you really want to make big bucks, then go out there and make some plays, and then have other people opportunities with an agent. Nick
Correct.
Saban has even said that you can have agent representation, have them set you up some business deals. We know Bryce Young has got a car deal. Will Anderson could have more than he's had, but I don't think that's really motivating him.
No,
I think
it's not.
I think he's more worried about
yesterday.
football. But again, you can make the money. Go out and make the plays. I have no problem with how much you make, even if you make $1 million if you've earned it. But I have a big problem if you're over here playing high school football and Malachi Nelson's driving to freaking practice because some scumbag lawyer has got him a deal for a $78,000 Mercedes, and then his mother a $2,000 Louis Vuitton purse. The kid's never made a play. What do you do when the guy when half of these kids flop? Because there will be a significant number of them that don't end up being big time players. And of course the excuse is, well, it's been going on for years behind the scenes, kids getting paid to go to school. But I understand that, but NIL was not set up to do this. NIL was name, image, and likeness because you earned the opportunity to make plays and be a great player. Just because you're a 5-star high school athlete doesn't mean you're going to be one in college. So to me,
now the question, is
it's significant enough just to earn a scholarship to go to college. Then you earn the rest of the money. I mean, to me, it's not the democratic way of doing things, which is what our idiotic president and some of the stupid people that run this country right now are doing, to pay you to do nothing.
So a question was going to be, when we got to SEC Media Days, it was going to be the Jimbo Nick feud, and I'm sure they were going to get questions. Now it's a legitimate question to ask Jimbo Fisher. Okay, you said, and I quote, we're not doing this.
And that Nick Saban should be slapped for saying.
And now you have a video that has surfaced that says y'all getting a lot of money from people behind these suites if you decide to come play here. If you decide. So is it as soon as they decide they're going to get the money, or is it they got to get on campus? I mean, he's going to spin it somehow to make it sound
what he's going to do, Scott, don't call it spin. He's going to lie through his teeth. That's what he's going to do, which is what he's been doing the whole time. The reason he's shouted the loudest is because he knows he's been cheating and basically circumventing the rules. He hid behind state law in Texas, but what they're doing is unethical and they're cheating. It's period, end of story. Cheating. That's what they're doing because they can't win any other way. They've never won a damn thing since 1939. And with this league expanding, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, it's going to make it even tougher for Dirt Neck to ever win another one, because the only reason he ever won one in the first place, his defensive coordinators at Plainview High School right now trying to get cleared to get back into the game. If he had not been fortunate enough to hire him, his ass probably would have still never won anything.
Wolverine Dan's with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Oh, Drew, sing it to the mountaintop, Drew. Tell them all.
Yep, telling you. I've had my
Drew,
Democratic comment for the day, though.
I'll tell you, Drew, a lot of lying going on. I mean, you get lying from Jimbo and A&M. You got the January 6th lying up there. They pay those people to lie. And then, it's like everywhere you go, it's either you're getting paid off or you're lying. What's next? Dogs and cats sleeping together?
Amen.
Hey, so here's the deal, gentlemen. Come on. We all know what's going on. And, when they say in biblical, the end of days, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of when you wake up in the morning, you better have a machete because you need to cut the air. That's how thick it is with lies, deceit, garbage, greed. That's all the stuff I want nothing to do with, okay? Now let's talk about something that just makes me happy, and that's all it is. There's really nothing behind it. A negative is just having UCLA and USC come in the Big Ten. I'm really pleased with that. My question.
Well, I wouldn't say that there's not negative. There's going to be some negative that comes out of this because it could do a lot to the.
They're two brand name schools, which I'm really pleased with, and they have a very good history now in a lot of sports. And my question now, Drew, is Notre Dame thinking about jumping in? And what do you call the Big Ten now? I was thinking about call it Hail to the Victors Division.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to see that. I look. I mean, I'm 49 years old, and I grew up with the Big Ten. And I mean, great. It's great to have USC and UCLA in there, but it kind of pisses me off because this isn't the Big Ten anymore. I mean,
it's super conferences.
It's super conferences now,
going.
And to have a conference go from one coast to the other coast, I mean, I am not a fan of it one bit. Not one bit. I woke up this morning. I am not a fan of this at all.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be interested, Dan, to see how many more schools they add. I'm sure they're targeting others. I don't think it'll be anybody, of course, from the SEC because, you can hear the Chuck Oliver show from 12 to 2 each and every Monday through Friday here on our station. We talked to Chuck last night, and Chuck is like, they're not going to – the SEC is not going to kick anyone out. See, because everybody was surprised when Missouri came to the league. All these schools that are in the SEC are cashing huge checks right now. But the Big Ten, their TV deal's coming up. They're about to renew it with Fox. And this is all about the money. They're wanting to expand their brand. They're doing it now coast to coast. But, Dan, the real thing now I want to know is what's going to happen to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can't.
I mean, because
that's a whole
there's
well, and Notre Dame now. Notre Dame has all the leverage.
If I'm the Big
world.
Ten, I'm trying to get Notre Dame.
And here's the downside.
I agree with Dan on that.
If Notre Dame decides, think about this though. Let's say Notre Dame decides to jump to the Big Ten,
right, and leave the ACC
and leave the ACC.
And independence in football,
what happens to Clemson?
I
if
think
Clemson looks at the ACC and says, "You're not going to get Notre Dame," all of a sudden, guess what? Clemson's like, maybe we're going to move. Maybe we're going to move to the SEC.
I think Clemson may be on the way to the SEC. If I were the SEC, I'd already said this last night. The first two schools I would target because look, no matter what happens, and no disrespect, Dan, but I'm just saying the SEC is going to be the preeminent football league. The next thing to do is the next thing for the SEC is to try to take over basketball, and the way you do it is Carolina and Duke because you get the preeminent rivalry in all of college basketball, and you decimate the ACC. And then to me, you just mentioned it. Then it's Clemson and Louisville.
We're going to have two conferences when this is all said and done. It's going to be two ginormous conferences, and that's all it's going to be.
It may be, or it could be three because the Big 12 and what's left of the Pac-12 end up merging. I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
Two real quick things, and I'll get off the radio. Number one, If I had a choice between watching two conferences, I'd rather watch the SEC. Minus Michigan, of course. I want to watch Michigan, but I'll tell you, the SEC is entertaining. I love it. It's great football. It is what it is. Now, the second thing, here's the funny thing, fellas. It mirrors what's going on now with college football mirrors, and you hit on a couple of things, Drew, just like our government's being run. Let them eat cake. All the people on top are getting all the cream, and workers like us eat cake. That's exactly what's happened. We're getting squeezed out, guys. That's all what's going on right now. It's all about the money, all about the power, and the little people in the middle that do all the work. Just keep working and shut your mouth.
Exactly. Or they try to cancel you.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great fourth.
Wolverine Dan with us. And that is the other big story, really. I mean, this just came out of left field yesterday.
Oh,
really,
it did.
And that was the announcement. USC,
because I saw
UCLA
the dirt neck thing earlier.
In 2020, by early of 2024, is when this move is going to happen.
Because see that the video for Texas A&M ATM came out, and you're focusing on that, and then you're in the middle of the afternoon. You're like, wow. And this just confirms, this puts the ball in Nick Saban's court, and then I guess an hour or two later is when all the national media started reporting that USC and UCLA were fixing to be on the move by 2024, and we're going to leave the Pac-12 after all these years. And I mean, I was shocked, but it just goes to show you what's been going on behind the scenes for a while. The Big Ten trying to, trump what the SEC is doing, because the SEC got Oklahoma and Texas to come over. So it's going to be really interesting. I mean, and really fascinating, because I don't know, man. And then, we went over these scenarios last night about the SEC and what Sankey might do and how many, teams you may end up with in your league. And, the speculation was as many as 20. And this is what I said, Scott. If you're going to go 20, you might as well go 24. And to me, and then
who's to stop at 24?
Well, I'm just saying that seems to me to be kind of a rounded number. And you're not going to 2 12-team divisions. We're going to go away from divisional play. But I'm just saying 24. And these are the 24 teams I came up with, because of adding 8, in other words.
Right.
To me, I just mentioned it, Duke and Carolina, because you get into the state of North Carolina, and you're already controlling football, okay? We've already talked about on the show that baseball and softball have become the dominant brands in the SEC. Oklahoma just won the gymnastics national championship. You already know what Alabama and Georgia and Florida and some of these other gymnastics programs have done historically. So the SEC is going to control gymnastics, all right? And you got Texas as well. But then the last thing you want to control that you don't control right now, we know that. We know historically it's been the ACC, but it's also been lately the Big 12. It's been so good. What you're trying to control, though, is basketball.
Yeah.
And Greg Sankey, remember, we've been going to SEC Media Days every year. One year, his focus, even though football is the 4-day focus, when he was talking to the media and going around to each individual radio station, as he is apt to do, and we appreciate it, he'll sit down with you and talk. He mentioned basketball. He said, we have to get better there. We're not good enough. It's been a point of emphasis. They have built the league up in the last 4 to 5 years, but the next step is to try to have the best league.
Yeah.
If you already got Kentucky, say you pick up Carolina and Duke, that's 2 more blue bloods.
I think you pick up Florida State as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Here was the schools that I chose in kind of order. I would say Duke and of priority, Duke and Carolina, because that's 2 of the preeminent brands and the biggest rivalry in college basketball. And then the next 2 for me would probably be Clemson and Louisville. And you mentioned Clemson already. What would Clemson do? That's South Carolina's geographic rival, and Louisville is Kentucky. So then that 9-game schedule, because we got to play this out-of-conference rivalry game, is out the door.
Right.
And then Louisville, which I think is going to fix itself from the standpoint they spend a lot of money on athletics. I know they're on probation right now, Scott, but I still think the basketball program, it means too much to people. They will get it fixed. So you've got Louisville, and that's another huge brand. Then the next 2 is what you just mentioned. To me, it's probably Florida State, Miami, because they're two preeminent brands in football, especially.
Well, that would bring Florida and Florida State together.
Yeah, Florida State.
And it would guarantee Florida and
then
Miami.
the last two to get to 24. To me, it's another case of TV markets, and going somewhere where you don't have a presence in your league is Virginia and Virginia Tech. And then if you do that, the ACC is finished. They pretty much they're going to have to combine maybe with the Big East and make some kind of super conference and be mostly – it'll be
they could combine with the Big 12. They could take the – if you're going super, let's take the Big 12 with the rest of the Pac-12 that's not coming, and then the ACC, because geographical alignments, I guess, right now mean absolutely nothing.
They don't, but that's why I was saying Big East and ACC, because it's still – those are mostly East Coast schools, and you could have – some of those members would play football, but you would have still a pretty good basketball league because, as you know, right now with the way the Big East is constituted, Scott, it's still mostly a basketball league, okay? A lot of those schools don't play football.
Yeah.
But I just think that's where it's going. I don't know that it'll be 2 super conferences, but I think it'll be 3 or 4 super conferences, but it'll be a lot of merging going on. And to me, geographically and just because of what's going to be left of those 2 leagues because of this expansion again, I just think eventually where we're going, that's why I was saying it makes sense for me for the Big 12 and the Pac-12 to have an alliance. Whatever's left, I don't know what the conference will be called at that point in time, but again, and ironically, I think they both just hired commissioners. Talking about the Big 12 and the Pac-12.
The Big 12 did. Remember, they hired the guy out of Rock Nation.
Yeah. Well, and then the Pac-12 replaced Larry Scott several months ago.
Yes.
So, but I just think eventually those leagues are going to merge.
Let's get our first break in. When we come back, we'll continue this talk. We got a lot more to unpack with this. Where does college athletics go as a whole with USC and UCLA headed to the Big Ten? We'll explain as we're live from Metro Diner along Highway 72.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a minor accident on 565. This one's eastbound near Hughes Road. And we got one on Capshaw east of Nance. They upgraded that one to an injury type, so they're working to clear both of those. Everything else looks pretty good at this point. You be careful on your trip in. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner. You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
When our lives were interrupted, Madison Academy immediately began distance learning instruction thanks to our Apple device program and a well-prepared faculty.
When our success in athletics led to a new competitive balance rule, Madison Academy was prepared to face the new challenges head-on.
We understand a thing or two about winning, and it always begins with preparation. Learn how our balanced approach to learning prepares the mind, body, and soul. Visit our website at macademy.org to learn more. Strong minds, strong faith. That's Madison Academy.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The defending world champs are answering the call. The Braves' run for a title heats up this summer, and we'll bring it to you live.
Fly ball to deep center field. That is gone! Matt Olson with a bomb to center field.
Tonight, kick off your holiday weekend with Atlanta Braves baseball, live from the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati as they take on the Reds. Braves Radio goes on the air at 5:25 Eastern, 4:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talking Ball with Scott and Drew.
Welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live from Metro Diner along Highway 72 here in Madison. Don't forget, coming up at 8 a.m., you're going to get this week's Zone Deal, $50 worth of food for $25 here to Metro Diner. And the doors will open at 8 a.m., so now is the time for us to get with Jonathan here from Metro Diner, because at 8 a.m., he is going to be busy
releasing
on the grill.
hounds.
Yeah, basically. And a lot of big things. We went over some of those new menu items on the board beforehand, Jonathan, but I have a feeling there's a lot more that we can mention.
There is a lot more. So right now we're in the middle of our 30-year anniversary. We're celebrating the 30 years that Metro Diner has been around. And so with doing that, we bring back a lot of our classic menu items. One of them, the huevos rancheros, we brought that back a couple weeks ago. I'm going to tell you right now, the new one that we have right now, do not eat it unless you plan on sleeping or sitting around the rest of the day. So this thing is called it's called the Holy Divoli.
You put a crick in my neck, I can tell you that.
It is it's one of our classic menu items. It is literally, it's a hamburger in between two grilled cheeses. Inside of the two grilled cheeses that you use as your bun is going to be bacon, the cheese, and tomato, and then you've got your hamburger patty, and then I like to call it a convenience condiment because it's pickle slaw, but it's lettuce, mayonnaise, and pickles, and it's all together.
Oh,
so
wow.
Is this thing like 3 feet tall?
It's got some height to it. It does have some height to it.
It's going to take the hunch to as our good friend Guy Fieri, who's on the poster out there in the front. In
You're
the
not
lobby.
getting that one.
Yeah.
You need to stay away.
Probably
from
need
that.
to stay away from that.
Yeah.
That one will take you out if you're not careful. But like I said, we're and also in the middle of our anniversaries. We've got the rest of the year. We'll be bringing back a lot of the classic menu items. I know one that is very, very, very popular that I get a lot of comments about when it's coming back is our grilled Reuben sandwich.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just be on the lookout for that. Y'all go ahead and get those zone deals, because I'm going to tell you, last time we did it, we were sold out within like the first couple hours.
Yeah, it didn't last very long. It lasted like an hour and a half.
So all of you that are lovers of the Reuben sandwich, make sure you grab those zone deals so you can come in here and get you one when we start running it.
Man, then I'm looking at, what is it, the blueberry lemon griddle?
The blueberry lemon griddle. So we've been rotating out flavors on our griddles. The last one we did a chocolate griddle for the moms, and they loved it. So far, the feedback that I've gotten on the lemon blueberry one right now is that this is the best flavor that we've come up with. Just like as was mentioned earlier, it is your choice of pancake or waffle infused with lemon and fresh blueberries as well. Topped with cream cheese icing and your powdered sugar. You can have it for breakfast. You can have it for dessert. I mean, it just depends on, how you want to go with that.
Yeah, and the Sicilian scramble sounds pretty good too.
Yeah,
it is. I can tell you, we've made vast improvements on our marinara sauce. If you remember our marinara sauce from before, it was really good. Right now, it's even better. with the addition of the fresh vegetables and garlic and everything that we put in there. So you can get it on top of the Sicilian scramble bowl, or right now one of our classic menu items that we brought back is the chicken Parmesan sandwich. So
yeah, we were talking about that, and I think an item that's been rotating on and off is one that I've had here before that I really liked with the marinara sauce was the your Burrito Press, the breakfast item.
The Burrito Press. I don't know when that's going to be back. Yeah. Right now, I know as far as the company goes, we were kind of looking for some supply help on that. Yeah. It was very, very, very popular
right now in the food industry. That the supply is a big part of it, because
it really is.
There's certain items it's hard to get to keep on a menu.
Yeah, the biggest thing with that one, the hardest thing to get was the actual press for us to.
There you go.
Because at first we were doing one at a time, and we were selling so many of them, it became just a hassle. Right. So right now we're looking into getting a larger panini press that's gonna fit our scheme back there, and then we'll probably bring that one back. It's a perfect on the go type menu item too, and that's why we had it. With a lot of the door dashing and things like that. It's the perfect thing. You want to come in and order it and grab it on your way to work. We have it done within 5-10 minutes, and then you can eat it on the way to work just because of the way it's wrapped. So,
man, but you still have the all-time favorite still on the menu. The Charleston shrimp and grits is still there.
That's not going anywhere.
The French toast is still there. The pancakes are still there,
and of course the chicken and waffles with everybody's favorite strawberry butter.
Oh, you cannot. I mean, that can't go off the menu.
Never.
That cannot. All right, Jonathan. Zone Deal coming up at 8 a.m., Metro Diner, all kinds of good food. You guys open at 8 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Any other big specials coming up? I know.
Not really. We're just looking.
Are you open on Monday, though? That's the question.
Absolutely.
Okay. 4th of July, they're open.
4th of July, come grab your breakfast, so that way you're good and full before you go cook out and do your fireworks and everything. Now, we do close at 3 o'clock. So
I was going to say, are you going to close early, though?
Yes,
that was the question.
We do close at 3 o'clock, so I'm going to try to get my brisket smoking that Sunday before I have to come in here and do this on Monday. So
it's a short shift, though. I mean, you guys will be busy, though, on Monday for sure. All right, Jonathan, thanks for
Thank y'all very much. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it, Jonathan. And, I was temporarily for about 15 minutes a Metro Diner employee, considering that I had a disaster almost pouring my own Coke Zero. But I did do a good job wiping up. I know he did, but I've told you, I'm not leaving a mess or something, man. I mean, I just hit the wrong button or something. At least I didn't spray myself and end up with on this camera with covered in Coke Zero. I mean, even though there'd be some people laughing at me, but I mean, hey, we did all right. We right before the show.
Yes, you did fine. All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the show this morning as we are live again from Metro Diner along Highway 72 here in Madison. And obviously, before the break, we were talking about USC and UCLA heading to the Big Ten, and you have to ask the question. First of all, this was kind of funny because remember about 6 months ago, we are not even a year out from when Texas A&M and Oklahoma decided to leave for the league. I mean,
remember that was
at SEC Media Days.
It hasn't even been a year. Remember that was Brent Zverneman. We had him on the show from Houston Chronicle, and they broke that during the SEC Media Days.
And the question,
Texas and OU.
The Big Ten's response was, "We're going to form an alliance with the Pac-12."
Yeah,
basically that was the Big Ten's answer at the time. The Pac-12, by the way, is I believe the oldest conference, the oldest formed conference in America right now. You got to ask now, what happens to the Big 12? USC and UCLA are headed to the Big Ten, and coincidentally, the Big Ten right now is in TV negotiating rights. They are in the middle
with Fox, I believe, right?
With everybody right now.
Yeah.
Now, the Big Ten has become uber attractive, adding Los Angeles to its television market.
Right.
On top of you've got the big three markets, because you've got Rutgers on the East Coast, which is kind of the New Jersey area market. You kind of go into New York a little bit with that market. You've got the Chicago market with the Big Ten. The home offices are there in Chicago. You got Northwestern right there. You've got that market. Now you have the Los Angeles market as well. So you've got the top 3 television markets. The Big Ten is uber attractive when it comes to television marketing rights right now.
What I'm wondering is it just going to stop at USC and UCLA? Are they going to poach some more schools from the Pac-12, like in Arizona State, get into that state as well? Because if you're going to go into LA and California, why not continue to expand your brand on that coast?
Yeah.
Now, I do not expect the SEC to go there. I'm talking about to go coast to coast. I don't think so. I think they're going to. They went into Texas, and it's what I just said. In our first segment, I think it'll be North Carolina.
They're going to take some ACC
Virginia.
Teams.
I think you just try to dominate college basketball and decimate the ACC. What's going to be really interesting is everybody knows I'm a Duke guy, and Coach Krzyzewski just retired, and I wonder if this is another reason why he retired, because if you remember when Maryland left to go from the ACC to the Big Ten, Coach K was very outspoken about them leaving, and it was like, oh well, then they chose to leave, they're gone. Duke has been in the ACC for so many years. When that league was formed in the 1950s, I believe, it's going to be fascinating to see if they truly move, because I think they should. I think that's just where it's going, and you want to be with the best league, and the best league to me is the SEC. But because I think the ACC, we've already talked about how their football has just fallen off a cliff, and now even Clemson has slipped a little bit. And then you look at even the basketball, Scott, they're not considered the best basketball league anymore. And so to me, if you're Duke and you want to kind of reinvigorate things, you're never going to compete at a high level in football. I hate to say that. They're not going to be, whether it's in the ACC or especially in the SEC, they're not going to be they're going to be at best a mid-level contender. They're not going to be contending for conference titles. But in basketball, they still should be. And if you're the SEC and you're Greg Sankey, that's what I've got my eyes on. Carolina and Duke with my brand, those brands with my league logo on it. And so to me, you've got a chance to decimate the ACC and Louisville has not been in the ACC very long, but you've got a chance to get Louisville as well. You would have the preeminent basketball league. Your basketball league has made strides, but it's still probably third. No better than second, but really more likely third when people talk about the Big Ten and the Big 12. But guess what? If you get Carolina, Duke, and Louisville, well, then the Big Ten and the Big 12 can't compete with that, because those are bluest of the blue bloods. Two of them were in the Final Four.
Well, so this is all about money. I mean, it is simply – the SEC in 2024, that's when their new television rights will go into effect.
Yeah, that's true.
The SEC is going to get about $300 million per year on its newest television rights. And I think it's a 10-year deal. They are now estimating that the Big Ten will get $1 billion in media right fees annually for the Big Ten. Now, with this move, adding USC and UCLA, $1 billion in television rights. Now with the two new schools, it's all about money, folks. That's purely what it's about.
And we've had a huge debate about this, and I've said and ripped them and said they need to modernize, they need to move. The future of the Rose Bowl is in peril because they've prided themselves on being a national championship game destination at times.
Right.
But other than that, they've always still had the Rose Bowl parade and the traditional Big Ten and Pac-12 matchup. Well, those leagues are about to change dramatically.
Yes.
So what does the Rose Bowl do? The Rose Bowl's got to, get it in gear. And I think they're going to have to move, and they're going to have to modernize, because that's the whole thing. Because this was a huge shot across the bow yesterday, because to me it signaled the beginning of the end of the Pac-12. They can't lose USC and UCLA and continue.
Totally. All right, Mike is with us this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Hey, I just wanted to make a couple comments about USC and UCLA. First off, SEC is still by far better off with Oklahoma and Texas than the Big Ten with those schools. But I got a bunch of buddies I went to school with, and we're kind of spread throughout the country, and we go at each other constantly about primarily college football. But, the first note that came out yesterday was from the guy that's in Newport Beach, California, and he sent out a pretty humorous picture, and his note was, the first Californians to jump ship and not go to Florida or Texas. And he said, too scared for obvious reasons, and then read Alabama and Georgia. I thought that's pretty humorous. Another guy that's in Illinois talking about they're making the jump from AA to AAA, not quite ready for the big leagues of the SEC yet. But I also just a comment about Jimbo. I really think Drew is being far too harsh on Jimbo. The only time Jimbo ever lies is whenever he opens his mouth. That said, I would love for you guys to get him on an interview at some point during media days. What do you think?
Well, we've already been talking about that. We figure that Texas A&M's media relations people are probably going to be passing out flyers and stuff about what can and can't be asked, because I certainly want to get the microphone in the main room and ask Dirtneck what his cap number is for the team this season. And
I've already said
how do you manage a roster when some of the players make more than the assistant coaches? I'd like to ask him that, and they don't feel like practicing. I'm sure I'll get cut off and they'll go to commercial or somebody will yank the microphone away from me, but I'd love to ask that question and see how he deflected it, or just ask him this, do you feel like you owe Nick Saban your career? Because if you hadn't have worked for him or hired one of his other former assistants, Jeremy Pruitt, to run your defense at Florida State, you wouldn't be cashing these checks. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to know, because Jeremy right now is not out of coaching. He's actually going to be helping his father Dale at Plainview this year, from what I'm hearing. Running that'll be the best defensive coordinator in the state of Alabama probably. But I mean, Scott's been bringing it up, $96 million buyout right now. Yeah. Why didn't he give about $25 million of it to Jeremy? Because without Jeremy, he wouldn't have had a national championship in 2013.
Well, this is what's going to happen when we get to Atlanta. He's going to walk up to the podium and he is going to say, or the moderator is going to say,
no questions
about recruiting, no questions about Nick Saban. He's already answered that, and one or two people will get it in. The first two people that say it will get it in, because that's how it always works at these press conferences. The first person to do it, you get one shot, and whoever's going to be, it'll be a national writer that'll get it, and it'll be a fluff one around it. But that's how it's going to work, Mike. I mean, trust me, we're going to try everything we have in Atlanta.
All right. Well, you guys do a great job. I enjoy the show. Have a good week.
Thank you, Mike. And after what happened yesterday with one of his own people in his organization saying how much money they're going to get paid, how can you just deny and not allow questions?
That's what's going to happen is now.
That's his own fault.
Yes. Before there was no proof. There was nothing out there. It was his word, Nick Saban's word, and that's all it was. Well, now there's video out, and it has been seen by over 2 million people that this is being done. Now there's video proof that it's being done.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, we're live from Metro Diner. We got to get that final break in before hour one comes to a close. Let's get this break in. When we come back, more conversation from Metro Diner along Highway 72.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I don't see anything new accident-wise. We had a couple, 565 eastbound across from Hughes Road and Capshaw east of Nance. That one on Capshaw was an injury type. Both of those should be pretty well completed now. Great summer start with overnight or day camp at Camp Chalakee on Lake Guntersville. Kayak, zip line, go on the Giant Swing or the Blob, chalakee.org, or you could call the Y for info. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large, injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
The defending world champs are answering the call. The Braves' run for a title heats up this summer, and we'll bring it to you live. Fly ball to deep center field. That is gone! Matt Olson with a bomb to center field. Tonight, kick off your holiday weekend with Atlanta Braves baseball, live from the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati as they take on the Reds. Braves Radio goes on the air at 5:25 Eastern, 4:25 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Indeed. This morning we are live from Metro Diner along Highway 72 here in Madison. But come tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 3, we will be live from University Kia as well. So you're going to get a fill of us in the next 24 to 50 hours, I don't know, 38 hours, whatever it is. As we're going to be live tomorrow for a special Saturday edition show from University Kia, getting you ready for some car deals as we head into the 4th of July holiday weekend, or in the 4th of July holiday weekend. And that's going to
be a different time slot for us. So that's going to be an afternoon show, correct?
Yeah.
So it'll be
1 to 3. We're going to be out there and that'll lead into the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are on 97.7 ESPN The Zone tomorrow afternoon, and that'll lead us into Braves baseball tomorrow afternoon. So we got a lot of good stuff, and I
know we usually showcase when Arthur's there, and he is frequently, we will feature him on the show, and a lot of times they'll have a car that they're featuring in the showroom that we will have as a subject matter. Are you going to bring your own car into the showroom and then just put it on the video?
I can just drive it on in, pull it right into the showroom.
We even talked about it on the show last night. Yeah. I broke it down to everybody. I was like, if you see Scott tooling around, he's going to be tooling around in a nice luxury vehicle that looks like something out of Tron.
It's got a lot of little gadgets in it, but anyway, no, it's nice. And thank you to University Kia as well, because they are the official transportation providers for you and I as we head to SEC Media Days here in a couple weeks. Yeah, as we're going to be headed to Atlanta.
To see Dirt Neck. Come in the back door and leave the back door.
I think Mike was being facetious when he said you're being too hard on Jimbo Fisher.
There's no question he's being facetious. Who cares about that jackass? Yeah. He's a lying piece of trash. You just have to tell the truth on this show.
Tell the Truth Friday or
hey, I got to give a shout out to one of our listeners, Freddie Kirby. He came up with a good name. He said that we've been talking about mergers and everything, and we've been talking about the Pac-12 and the Big 12 merging. He came up with a new name for the conference, which I thought was pretty cool. Called the Leftovers. Just call it the Leftover League.
Just all the teams kind of.
Yeah, I mean, for those two anyway. I don't know. I mean.
Well, look, though, I mean, think about this, though. BYU is making the move to the Pac-12.
Right.
You had other schools that are like wanting to make the move to the Pac-12. What about Oregon? Think about Oregon for a second now. Oregon's a bigger loser. Oregon's a big loss in this. I mean, because Oregon is a brand that needed USC and UCLA, because I don't think Oregon – can Oregon be the flagship team for the Pac-12? They're not in a market. Eugene is not a market where they can. I don't think
I would still think it would be Arizona and Arizona State, but both of them have struggled to be consistent.
I mean, Oregon is the most consistent team right now.
It looks like Arizona's fixing their basketball program for right now. But I asked this of Arizona Jay, one of our avid listeners. He called into the drive last night and was basically ranting and raving saying the Pac-12 was done. And I said, well, because he's now basically an Alabamian, but he grew up in Arizona, in Tucson. I was like, well, what would you do if you're Arizona and Arizona State? And he's just like, they're done. He doesn't think, and he brings up a good point about the demographic and the passion or lack thereof for sports in those states. He wonders if the support is there for it to work. In other words, like you go to the football games, it's half empty. Basketball they're a basketball school and a baseball school, okay? But do they care enough to be a flagship kind of thing? Are they going to? In other words, the reason I mentioned Louisville coming to the SEC is because with Papa John's and some of their sponsors, and we've seen what they're doing in NIL with some of the aggressive recruiting they're doing in football and getting some 5-star caliber athletes.
Don't forget, Papa John's is out at Louisville. Remember?
Oh well, yeah. I know it is, but I'm just saying. That's how they've built their facilities in the past. They've had big sponsors.
Yes,
I'm just saying they seem to care. Okay, and that's why they would come to the SEC.
Well,
how is the Pac-12 going to respond to being punched in the mouth and USC and UCLA leave it?
USC and UCLA still struggled to get people there for football games. Regardless, are they even going to respond to being in the Big Ten?
That's why Lincoln Riley was hired and Chip Kelly was hired. Now, Chip Kelly has found it much harder than he did at Oregon, but they need both of those programs football-wise to stabilize. And what is your boy going to do, man? You are the biggest Bill Walton fan I know.
Oh, the Conference of Champions.
All he calls it is the Conference of Champions, and now his school is leaving the Pac-12. I cannot wait to hear Bill's take on this. Because,
by the way, he's going to be in Alabama here in another month or so.
Is Bill going to have a stroke? Yeah. I mean, what I mean is he going to come apart because they're not? I mean,
he'll just spend more time
I do
in
know
the
one
backyard,
prominent UCLA alum, and he on his social media, my good friend Kevin Walker had it all on his Instagram, had UCLA going to the Big Ten. He did not seem to be bothered by it. So is Bill Walton going to be bothered by it? Because basically that's all UCLA has ever known is the Pac-12.
John Bacon from the New York Times. He's a columnist for the New York Times. He's a New York Times bestselling writer. Has a podcast out there. Put out there that the Big Ten did not reach out to USC and UCLA. USC and UCLA reached out to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So what if the Big Ten had turned them down? Would the SEC have taken both of those two?
No. I don't think the SEC, they don't need those markets. Their market is already number one. The SEC network is already number one. It is the Southeastern Conference. And you can expand into Texas and even Oklahoma, but I don't think they want to put their footprint in New York. I don't think they want to put their footprint in Los Angeles. I don't think they care about that.
Okay.
I think they already know they rule the roost. To me, again, what you should be targeting is it's still in your footprint, still in the South, so to speak, but you need to be trying to decimate the ACC and rule the roost in basketball.
Remember, the Rose Bowl was the thorn in the side, so to speak, when it came to the college football playoff expansion.
Well, they just
this
took a
is
shot
massive
to the bow.
now. Yep.
Yeah, really did.
It's hour one in the books. When we come back, going to kick off hour number two. High school football practices, they are getting closer and closer by the
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-Fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Got a new wreck on the Parkway northbound near Weatherly. That one's coming in as a no injury. 565 eastbound at Hughes and Capshaw east of Nance. Both should be cleared. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist can help keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Not everybody's going to get wet. Not everybody's going to get wet at the exact same time. Some thunderstorms, though, could be on the stronger end of the spectrum. Some heavy rain, some gusty winds, maybe even a little bit of small hail. As we head into the weekend, much the same. A partly sunny sky on Saturday. Temperatures hanging out in the lower 90s. A couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The Braves in Cincinnati this weekend. Game 1 against the Reds tonight. Max Fried to start. Atlanta a -201 moneyline favorite. Cincinnati +174. The total set at 9.5. Ahead of UFC 276 Saturday in Vegas, Israel Adesanya a -500 favorite to remain the middleweight champion against +350 underdog Jared Cannonier. In the other title bout, Alexander Volkanovski -210 in his featherweight title defense against Max Holloway at +165. Just 8 weeks until the start of college football season. Alabama opening as a 38-point favorite in the season opener at home against Utah State September 3rd. Auburn opening up at home against Mercer.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And welcome in. It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live from Metro Diner along Highway 72. It is this week's Zone Deal. And by the way, the deal has gone live. It is 8:02, and we have already gotten 13 out the door.
That's pretty good, 13 in a minute and a half.
Yeah, so we're down to 47. We started with 60, so we're down to 47 deals. Get your deal today before they are gone. Again, wzzn.halfoffdeal.com. That is where you need to go to get your Metro Diner certificates. $50 worth of food for Metro Diner for just $25. All you got to do is go to wzzn.halfoffdeal.com, and they can be yours today. So, high school football season, we explained it. There's 2 things that can go on. One, you can take a spring practice and do all of that, and then you can start your football practices at your normal time, or you can skip spring practices, have your workouts, but you can also start your practices earlier in July. That means we're getting close to the start of the football season because the calendar just flipped to July 1st.
Yeah, no doubt. And our next guest, we've watched him grow up here in our community. He's, of course, a graduate of Huntsville High School. His father was one of the best players in our city's history. At Butler High School, went on to play for the University of Alabama was in, I believe, Coach Bryant's last recruiting class. And he's one of the big reasons why I'm on the radio. I grew up listening to him and Bruce Parris, talk sports, and it kind of piqued a great interest for me. And he's still a great friend. I enjoy him when he's on our shows. I've sat in with him periodically on 97.7 The Zone. He stayed very involved in football in our community and even overseas. He has a passion for it. I know he's helped our next guest at his stops along the way, and I'm sure he will now that he's got his first head coaching opportunity. But the new head football coach taking over for our good friend Trey Sullivan at New Hope High School is Tyler Johnson, and he was approved around Memorial Day officially at New Hope, and he's now taken over there. He was the run game coordinator, offensive line coach at James Clemens under our good friend Chad McGehee last year, and then, of course, worked for Scooby Sharp at Madison County High School. Had some really good football teams, and now he's going to be putting his own imprint on a program with the New Hope Indians, and Tyler has been able to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach Johnson, it's Drew DeArmond, Scott Tyson. It's an honor to have you on the program. How you doing this morning?
Doing good this morning, guys. Just got done doing a makeup list Friday morning, but having a good summer and just getting, like y'all said, the calendar's turning to July. It's getting the football season. We had a youth football camp last night, and that's what I was telling our youth kids, like, hey, it's getting ready for football season. You start feeling the air with that heat and humidity. So getting excited over here.
Yeah, I mean, talk about this transition, getting out there to New Hope and kind of laying your footprint out there, so to speak, for the Indians.
Yeah, I kind of came in late. Y'all talked about it in May. Coach Sullivan had an opportunity to move back closer to his home, and this isn't something I was necessarily looking for, but I got a call, and I live out this way. And, Coach Sullivan, y'all mentioned him, and I've told everybody, and every time I've interviewed, him and his staff did a great job kind of rebuilding this place and getting it back to a place in good standing. And I feel like it's a program it's ready, and the thing we've kind of talked about is taking the next step and continue to improve, because Coach Sullivan's kind of taking it to a point, and our goal here is to take that next step and just continue to grow this thing. It's been fast, like I said, because we came in May and having to learn kids left and right and learn coaches, but I'm really blessed with some great coaches that Coach Sullivan had brought on, and kids have been working their tails off all summer. So really, really happy with how everything's going, even though it's been a really, really fast transition.
No question about it, Coach. I mean, I know it was late May when you basically got this call. Because, I mean, I remember just saying hello to you and seeing you at the baseball playoffs for James Clemens, and you guys had done a great job in Coach McGee's first year taking over for Wade Waldrop. First undefeated regular season in the history of the school. Had really set a great foundation going forward to keep that program among the best in North Alabama and really in the state in a 7A program. But it's all about timing, and certainly Coach Sullivan decided to go back probably to South Alabama from what we understand and go home. So talk about the decision to take over, and rather late because but again, one good thing about the timing too is there's a choice. You don't necessarily, you didn't have to have spring practice this year. They have the new rule where you can start in July. So talk about being able to take over like that and kind of hit the ground running, and with a program, as you already mentioned previously in our segment, that you felt like Coach Sullivan had been able to steady it and leave you a solid culture in place.
Yeah, that with taking over a program this late, you got to look at that, just because if this isn't a full rebuild. This is, I'm trying to add pieces to make this place get better. It's not like it's a full rebuild. And Coach Sullivan before had already decided not to do spring. So like you said, we'll get to start our fall camp July 25th, which is right around the corner. Which gives us in the month of July before our first game. We don't play our first game, actually, regular season game, until August 26th. We have 7 weeks from when we come back after this July 4th break to get ready for that first game. So, even though the transition was fast, I felt like there were good pieces in place here. I did my research, kind of what they had coming up, the coaching staff, the facilities, and I'll be honest, I've told everybody that I know and coaches I know, the facilities we have here at New Hope High School, I'm in the weight room right now, actually, I've been at Huntsville High, I've been at Madison County, I've been at James Clemens. Our facilities here are nicer than all 3 of those places. So I put all those things together where it was at, and even though it was late, this place is 10 minutes from my house. And it kind of became a no-brainer. A good friend of mine, y'all know him, Coach Killen, I kind of talked to him about this whole thing and through this process. He said, Tyler, you got to look at it. And he encouraged me to do it. And once I did, I was like, I figured out it was a pretty good opportunity. And like I said, even though it was late, all those pieces were in place. I felt like I could get it going like I wanted
to. We saw Coach Sullivan when he was there, and we talked to him several times throughout when he was there at New Hope. We saw his style. It was an option style of a system. Mm-hmm. It fit what he had there at New Hope. Tyler, Coach, when you come in there, what kind of system are we looking at doing? How much transition really is going to be going on for you and the guys before we see that first game?
Well, Coach Sullivan did that option system, and me and him have talked a good bit. He came in after they had a 1-9, I believe, and then before that, an 0-10, or back-to-back 1-9, off the top of my head right now. So part of their option system was they just didn't have a ton of numbers. I remember we played them in 2019 at Madison County. I think they ended up the season with 25 kids. And right now, at the end of the June workouts, we're averaging about 46 to 47 kids. And this transition, we're kind of making a spread transition, but that was something that Coach Sullivan had already kind of started in the off season this year. He felt like that's where they were going. And that was another part of this process for me when I was talking to him and talking to other coaches. They had already kind of started that transition. We're going to be offensively, we're going to spread people out, but Drew mentioned my time with Coach Sharp. Me and Coach Sharp's O-line guy. I'm an O-line guy. We're going to spread it out, but we're going to run the football. And we do things a little different while we run the ball. We use a ton of motion to create advantages in the run game. That's something I'm really passionate about. So we're going to get people on that with motions and things like that and take our shots where we can. And defensively, we're going to use an attacking 3-4 style defense. A lot of the stuff and our defense coordinator, Coach Mack's done a great job. We're kind of adapting some of the stuff we did at James Clemens that I felt like Coach McGee did really well. Y'all mentioned him. He's one of the best, if not the best, defensive minds I've ever been around. Keeps things really simple, and kind of using some of those things that, just to be honest, stole from him, and he's helped me out, helped me and Coach Mack out to kind of put those things in place. So like I said, there's some things that were already in place. They were kind of making that transition to spread look, because here's the thing, this community is growing, and there's more kids that are coming out. Like I said, we're averaging 46, 47 kids in summer workouts out here. So there's going to be a transition, but I think it's one that I don't think it's going to take as long as some people think.
Tyler Johnson, new head football coach of the New Hope Indians, and that's a pretty good segue there. Talk about the coaching staff you've been able to put together, and obviously I'm sure there's guys that you've retained. You got a late start with it a little bit, and you try to get some people hired, people in place, and of course a lot of it depends on teaching slots and things of that nature. But talk about the staff coach that you're going to have in year one.
So, like I said, I walked into a good situation coaching staff-wise. I mentioned that early in the segment. Matt Malone, I already mentioned him. He's going to be our defense coordinator, and he also does a weight room. He does a great job at both. He's been invaluable in helping me kind of learn this community and things like that. Michael Glasgow is going to coach our offensive line and be our offensive coordinator. And me being old, I'm kind of grew up coaching offensive line. Having a good O-line guy is key, and Coach Glasgow does a great job with that. Coach Darrell, he's been here for, I think this is year 25. He's going to be coaching our running backs line. He's been here for a while, so he kind of knows this community again. And that in a place like that, that's invaluable. One of the things that attracted me to this job is people move back to New Hope. It's kind of, I was talking to, when I was looking at this job, I talked to Coach Wiesen, my former coach on Fly, and he kind of said it's kind of like a smaller country version of Hunt Fly in the sense that people go to school here, they move back. Most of our players, their dads play here. So Coach Gerald knows the families, and being able to have that guy on staff, not just for the football knowledge, but the community knowledge. Right now, the only guy I've brought on is Tim Kreger, which y'all probably familiar with.
Oh, yes, very familiar name. Yep.
Yeah, coached with us at Madison County. He's our linebackers coach there, and coached me in high school. He's coached, this is year 36, and he's coached a lot of football, and he's out here helping us with linebackers, and he's just kind of experience is invaluable. I always look for experienced guys. So right now, that's our coaching staff. We might add a piece or two here or there, but my biggest thing is I want guys that are the right fit. I feel like the 4 guys I got right now are a really good fit with our team and our program. But those are the guys we got right now. And if we find someone that fit a teaching slot in our culture, we'll add them. But right now, I feel really good about who we got.
What has been, it's one thing to be an assistant coach and go through the motions and learn the game and learn coaching. But when you become a head coach, a lot of things become differently. There is a huge change. Some of the biggest things that you've had to learn now being a head coach, you haven't even coached a game yet. So, I mean, we haven't even gone through that. But so far, what's been some of the biggest changes for you as a head coach?
Well, so the administrative side is the big thing that with the football, with being a head coach, that's different. As an assistant coach, you really just get to coach football and focus on your position, or if you're a coordinator, focus on that. Yeah. Whereas this, I'm focusing on, hey, I got to make sure I've got stuff ordered and all, I got to make sure we got enough helmets. We got stickers for helmets. We got shoulder pads, working on the fundraising side. But fortunately for me, at my previous 2 stops at Madison County and James Clemens, Coach McGee and Coach Sharp both kind of let me experience that and be kind of over ordering stuff and walking me through that and giving me some advice. And Coach McGee kind of let me help work on my year there, work on some fundraising stuff. So I've done some of this before. Now being the guy that's leading it is a different thing, but I think that's the biggest transition. I was talking last night at our youth camp. Great thing about assistant coach, like I mentioned, is just get to football, coach football, and worry about your position. As a head coach, you got to worry about the administrative side, the fundraising, the ordering, parent relations, community relations, all that stuff. But like I said, fortunately, my previous 2 stops really had a lot of those 2 guys, Coach McGee and Coach Sharp, really let me kind of step into those roles and take some roles on, so I have some experience doing it. So it's not my first time in that role.
And Coach, I know your father's very proud and happy for your opportunity. I know he's been a mentor to me even in the business I'm in, and he's always great to talk football with. I've been with him on sidelines at places like Westminster and Madison Academy, and we've just spitballed and talked ball. And what was his advice to you when you called a lot of coaches, you called Coach Wiesman, but I'm sure your father's been a mentor too. What did he tell you, and what was his advice to you when you decided to take this step and get your first head coaching job?
The biggest thing my dad's always taught me is keep the main thing the main thing. And what I mean by that is I want to have success on the field, and I want our team to have success for our community, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the reason we coach football and these kids play football is to develop young men. And sometimes I think as coaches we get in this rat race of winning games, and I'm guilty of it too, because I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, and that's a fault of mine because I don't enjoy wins enough, just to be perfectly honest. And that's something actually me and Coach McGee would talk about a good bit when I was at James Clemens. But just keeping the main thing, and understanding, we want to win game and we put a good product on the field, but the end product is something we're not going to see until 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. And that's something, when I was a player at Huntsville High and everything, he never pushed what the end product was for me on the field. It was like, hey, you have to push through this because it's going to help you down the road. And that's the big thing he's kind of always preached to me and told me, and just keeping the main thing the main thing, because at the end of the day, that's why we do this. And sometimes in the rat race, the season and stuff like that, you can lose focus to that. So he's kind of reminding me that right now, and I'm gonna need him to keep reminding me too when we take a loss or we have a big win or whatever.
Well, and Coach, I know the schedule was basically already done for you when you got there. I know that the regions have been revised too in some cases. Talk about the schedule coming up and what your expectations are in year one, because as you said, it's a community school where you are. The people support it. They certainly have had some success under Coach Sullivan, but they would like to take the next step. What's going to be, your expectations for your players in year one, and especially with it looking up and the numbers being up and the excitement, and of course, as you said, walking into a situation where the facilities are much better than people realize.
So our season, like I said, the schedule's already kind of set. We start our jamboree off, which is with a tough one with Gunnersville. We get Gunnersville on the 12th as a jamboree game. Coach Reese, I've had many experiences with him at Madison County, but I'm excited about that. I think right now the plan is we're going to do about a half varsity, and that'll be good for our kids. Kind of see some speed and I just to be honest, probably some of the best speed we'll see all year. The next week we're off. We were supposed to play R.A. Hubbard that week, but that school closed. If you did not know, it closed. So we don't play our first regular season game is till August 26th against Sardis. And they're much like us. I looked at our schedule, and I think 6 of the 10 coaches in our regular season are going through some sort of coaching change. So for us, that a lot of the teams we play, they're going through the same thing we're going through as a team. Now, fortunately for us, we haven't had a bunch of coaching staff turnover. It's really just been me that has changed. So, the expectation for me is I want to see our kids. We talk about like our thing this year is next step, and I want to see us take that next step and be in those games. Last year they had some games that got away from them, and keep that from happening. Don't get beat 35-0. Let's try to make that game. I want to be in fourth quarter games every week. That's our goal right now, and hopefully we pull some wins out. That's something. I think it takes time to as a program to learn to win those tough games, those fourth quarter games. That's not something you just do overnight. I saw that in 2019 at Madison County with Coach Sharp. Actually, when we played Coach Reese at Gunnersville, we had a heck of a game. It was a 49-42 game. They beat us fourth quarter, and after that game, we went on a 9-game winning streak because our kids kind of figured out how to play in those tough games and ended up winning 10 games and have a really good season. But I think sometimes it takes going in those fourth quarter games and you might have to lose one to kind of figure out how to win one, if you know what I mean. So that's what I want to see. I want to see our team get those fourth quarters, compete their tails off, and learn how to win those fourth quarter games. That right now, that's the big thing I want to be able to see for our team.
Well, you got to settle into New Hope. New Hope's a fine community. Don't get you, and don't start eating too many Dots Dairy Den's burgers. They can be addicting.
I've already hit up Dots Dairy Den once or twice, and I took my dad out there the other day, and so I might have a menu in my coach's desk right now, so I can just call it in if I need it. There's some good vittles out here, so that's always a plus.
And another thing, Coach, is I'm sure you're gonna we want to remind people about the history of New Hope football. This is a program that's had young men reach the NFL. Of course, Howard Cross from back in your father's days at Alabama, played for a long time, won Super Bowls, and even just in the recent past, in the last 6 to 7, 8 years, and not even a decade, Jonathan Ford from Auburn to the NFL. So there's talent that has been out at New Hope. We're excited about it. We're excited about your opportunity. And, Coach, I know this 4th of July coming up is going to be a special one for you because of your wife and daughter. I know the situation that you guys have been through, but I know you're very blessed. We're so happy that your daughter's doing so well and that you and your wife are, just celebrated your anniversary. So we're just very proud of you and the opportunity, and we were really excited to see what you do at New Hope. And we think there's a lot of possibilities there to build this program into a consistent playoff contender. And congratulations, and we really appreciate it, and we're very happy and been praying for your family.
Well, I appreciate it, and I hope y'all can get out here sometime and see everything and see the facilities and come out to Jack Mitchell Stadium sometime for a game.
Yep.
I know y'all are busy with everything, but I'd love for y'all to come out one night and check it out. Like I told,
well, we need to get a New Hope helmet, Coach, to our
collection.
That's
what we need to do. We need to be hanging one on the wall.
I will get y'all one. I'll get y'all one next week. I will get that to y'all next week. I actually just got stickers in for helmets, so I will get y'all one next week.
Yep.
And what I told our community when I got introduced, I want this program to have a first class program, that 7A type program, but I want to keep the small town feel. Because you mentioned, Drew, there's been guys that have taken the next step here, and for a small town, that's pretty big. You know, it's hard to get to the NFL. I know that personally. It's hard to make that transition. We got 2 guys that did it, and I want to keep that first class program and make this a first class program like I experienced it at James Clemens and Madison County and Huntsville High. Those places do everything the right way. But I want to keep that small town feel, because I'm telling you right now, and I don't know about Scott, but I know, Drew, you grew up with Punch City football and stuff like that. Having your own home stadium that you walk out, we're going to walk out from our home locker room right on the field. We don't have to get on a bus for a game. We stay here in our facility. We walk out of the door right into our home stadium at Jack Mitchell. That's special, and that's something these big schools around here don't have. And that's what makes us different, and that's something I want to tell our community. Like, this is what makes us special. We can do everything first class, but we can keep this small town feel, because our kids walk right out of that door into the stadium. They don't have to get on a bus. They've got everybody in the community here and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm trying to sell this community, and right now so far they're excited, and there's been great enthusiasm and support since I've been here for just a little more than a month.
Well, we were really excited for you, Coach. Thank you for the time. Have a great 4th of July with you and your family. It's going to be a special one, and we look forward to July 25th, your first practice, and then August the 26th when New Hope takes the field. But good luck to you, and thank you for joining us this morning and talking some Indians football.
I appreciate it, guys, and I look forward to hearing from y'all again. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Tom. Tyler Johnson with us, new head coach, New Hope Indians. We're live from Metro Diner. Got to get that break in. We'll be back. It's this week's zone deal, $25 worth of food for $50 worth of food for $25 at
we
Metro
sold
Diner.
13 in a minute or in a half earlier.
We've sold over half of them.
Okay.
We'll be right back. More Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a wreck on the park. Parkway northbound near Weatherly, working to clear it. It was a no injury. And one on 157 near Evergreen in Morgan County. That one is a no injury, but it's got blockage on 157. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can
do? I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Our zone deal this week is truly an award winner. Metro Diner, serving up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest priced mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. Right now, you can get $50 worth of great Metro Diner food for half price, just $25 with our zone deal. Just log on 977ESPN.com to get yours.
Don't miss Chris Pratt in the terminal list.
Lieutenant Commander James Reese, can you outline the details of your mission?
It was a setup. They knew we were coming.
Nothing in this file adds up.
From Antoine Fuqua, Director of Training Day.
Answers are blood. Blood. Stay off my list.
The Terminal List. New series, now streaming on Prime Video.
Flow Trampoline Park is Huntsville's newest destination for family fun. There's an inflatable park for the little ones, air track basketball courts for the sports people, and a variety of other aerial sports attractions. Plus, plenty of couches and TVs for the spectators. Book your next party or outing at Flow Trampoline Park. Refuel at our caf, or tap into your inner child with an arcade and 3 console gaming rooms. Flow is at South Parkway and Drake, behind the Cracker Barrel. Learn more at flowhuntsville.com. That's flowhuntsville.com. Get your jump on at Flow Trampoline Park.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F.
We interrupt this message to announce our $1,000 appreciation cash reward. Attention all active military, reservists, retirees, and all veterans, plus first responders, police, fire department, EMTs, and medical professionals. In appreciation for making Huntsville the great city it is, you'll receive a $1,000 exclusive reward in addition to any public offers on most all 22 Fords. So please come see us today.
Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of Jordan and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Indeed, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live from Metro Diner along Highway 72. It is this week's Zone Deal. WZZN.halfoffdeal.com. That'll get you $50 worth of food for just $25 at Metro Diner.
Almost gone already.
Yeah, we're down to 23. We started with 60.
We're 2/3 of them are just about gone.
Yeah, 37 of them have left the building. That's okay. All you got to do is order it. It goes right to your phone. and you can use it instantly. So it's wzzn.halfoffdeal.com. Don't have to use all $50 at once. There's two $25 certificates, so you can use them whenever you want here at Metro Diner. Now, there are a lot of expectations here at Metro Diner. They want the best food. They want to serve you the best food. Expectations are something that we can talk about with our next guest because there's going to be a lot of expectations. Shane Beamer did not have a lot of expectations in year one. He exceeded everything I think that a lot of South Carolina fans did or thought they would in year one, getting him to a bowl game, getting 6 wins, finishing it in great style. Now you add Spencer Rattler, who going into last year was one of the most heralded quarterbacks going into the season.
Yeah, since he came to OU.
Transfers from Oklahoma to South Carolina. There's a few other pieces there in South Carolina. Shane Beamer probably now has expectations maybe a little bit loftier going into year two.
Well, I just remember, Shane Beamer and Clark Lee impressed us more than any coaches when we were at SEC Media Days in Hoover last year. With the way they handled the media and just their presence, especially Shane. And the expectations going into year one last year were maybe 3 or 4 wins, in which he exceeded. 7-6, doing a great job, being very, very competitive in the SEC and in the SEC East in year one, getting a bowl win. So I think overall, when you look at South Carolina, I think there's a lot of momentum there, and they carried it on into the transfer portal and into recruiting. And one of our next guests, he's been with us frequently, and he does a great job for the Big Spur for 24/7 Sports. He knows South Carolina and the Columbia community as well as anyone that I've ever had the chance to speak with. He's been on the road to Tuscaloosa. I've spoken with him as he covered Gamecock basketball against the Crimson Tide, but he does an outstanding job covering the Gamecocks, and he's taking some time this morning at the Metro Diner to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And that's John Whittle, and he's going to talk some Carolina with us right now. John, it's great to be with you again. You were with Drew and Scott here in Huntsville, Alabama. How are you doing this morning?
Man, I wish I was with y'all at the Metro Diner. That sounds like a great place. But happy to be on with you guys again.
Yeah, I'm enjoying a pancake and
omelet. Scott's
even
eating in front of me.
This.
Like I usually eat afterwards. Yeah. Scott is like West Neighbors. I don't know how they do it, but they can eat during shows. And he's got an omelet here, some hash browns, and he's finishing off some already 2 or 3 pancakes as big as manhole covers that he's already eaten. So he's enjoying the food right now, John, no doubt about it.
And John, South Carolina fans, they've got to be enjoying this offseason. They had to be enjoying last season with the success under Shane Beamer. Now you add Spencer Rattler, and I am sure now there's always been excitement with South Carolina football, but I am sure now that level is real high as we flip that calendar to July.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a fever pitch right now, to be honest with you, just because, as you mentioned, South Carolina is usually a pretty optimistic fan base, and Shane Beamer brings a lot of that positive attitude here to Columbia with him. So South Carolina fans kind of gravitated towards him and have a tremendous belief in him. And they did a lot of good work in the transfer portal. I mean, headlined obviously by Spencer Rattler. So, South Carolina really struggled a lot offensively last year. There were some defensive shortcomings, but, South Carolina struggled a lot offensively. And, they added a lot of pieces on that side of the ball, seven different players on offense to kind of help revitalize that side of the ball, just completely overhaul it. So, quarterback is obviously the big deal in college football and in football in general. And Spencer Rattler really addresses a position that saw 4 different players start there last year.
Well, and John, how big was it? To me, it was monumental for the way they finished the year. And what I mean is going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte and just absolutely ambushing and drilling North Carolina, who was disappointing last year, but to finish the year 7-6 sounds so much better than 6-7, and the expectations weren't high to begin with, I don't think, because of the roster situation that Coach Beamer took over. And even I know there was some consternation because he hired some coaches that left, and then he had to, kind of on the fly when he was putting together his first staff. He had to make some changes from the original guys that were thought to be coming to Columbia. But to me, he never. I just felt like I was kind of watching someone in front of me that really gets it. And what I mean by that is he grew up around the game. His dad, Frank Beamer, built Virginia Tech into a power when they didn't have a ton of history. South Carolina's got good history, and I still, the thing I'll never forget is Lou Holtz's first year in Columbia. They went 0-12, but sold out every game. They have a very passionate fan base, and the optimism, I think, what the term you use, I think is a good one to use. They support their team through thick and thin. So I kind of felt like even though there were some adversities and some things thrown at Coach Beamer, he adjusted on the fly really well, hiring his staff, and then got the most out of these players. And then it kind of carried over when you win the bowl game. Then the momentum continued into the offseason, into the portal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all that's fair, and I had kind of forgotten about the Will Friend era on the offensive line, and so you just mentioned the coaching changes last year, and how some of that played out. I think he was here for about 10 days or something
right.
like that. We did one Zoom interview with him, and you could tell that he was watching TV in the background the entire time. So yeah, it's there were definitely some challenges, and there were a lot of roster challenges too, as you alluded to last year, and they didn't really complain and just put their head down and went to work, and the team fought and they won some close games. It's not something to hang your hat on when you have to use a last second drive to beat Vanderbilt or to beat East Carolina, but at the end of the day, they still count as W's, and they made it to a bowl game, and it really, like you said, were able to establish some momentum going into the off season. Some of the signings from the transfer portal certainly helped in terms of just building some of that positive momentum and optimism for this season. And I thought, as you mentioned, I thought Shane did a really nice job, not only of holding things together, but growing up as a head coach over the course of his first year. And they won some close games, and I think that and beat a couple of big programs too to get to that bowl game at the end of the year with wins over Florida and wins over Auburn, both at Williams-Brice Stadium. So I thought it was certainly a really good year, a great first year for Beamer, and he's kind of set himself up to be in a much better position at the end of this year.
Yeah, I mean, you take away his last name. I mean, his last name gives him a little bit of credibility because we know that name Beamer in college football. He didn't come to South Carolina with a lot of head coaching experience, really none as far as like head coaching goes. And so I am sure when he was there in his first year, South Carolina fans are like, okay, I don't know about this. How do they feel now about Shane Beamer going into year two?
I mean, I think most people feel really good about him. There's obviously always going to be a faction of the fan base that's skeptical, and when you go through a coaching search and guys have their favorite candidates and those guys aren't hired, they're always going to take a little bit longer to come around. But on the whole, I feel like folks feel really good about what Beamer's doing here and the direction. It helps that the South Carolina folks have a lot of familiarity with Shane from his time as an assistant and helping put together the teams that won a lot around here under Steve Spurrier with those 11-win seasons, 3 in a row, and Shane was a pretty big part of that. And he's gone off. He went off from South Carolina and worked for his dad, worked at Georgia, worked at Oklahoma, and he's been building for this moment in his career, and I think he did a great job in his first season, and he's positioned the program to be a lot better in year two. So I feel like there's a lot of folks around here who feel really good about the direction of the program.
Yeah, no question about it. So How much did it energize the fan base for him to use his previous relationships as leverage and get a guy like Spencer Rattler, because this offense struggled last year at quarterback, and Austin Stogner from Oklahoma, also Corey Rucker from Arkansas State, the all Sun Belt receiver. How excited are they to see this second unit, addition of South Carolina football under Coach Beamer, especially with guys like a former 5-star, like a Rattler, and a Stogner, who might have been the best tight end on the transfer portal market.
Yeah, and I feel like the transfer portal was good to South Carolina from an offensive side. South Carolina was not good offensively last year overall. I mean, like I said earlier, it took last-second touchdown drives to beat East Carolina and Vanderbilt. You only put up 3 touchdowns against Troy. There were teams you didn't score against hardly at all in Georgia, which nobody really did, but Texas A&M, just didn't look good offensively last year at the bottom of the conference all year long, almost across the board. And part of that is because you're playing 4 different quarterbacks, right? Like your number one coming into the year breaks his foot in the first scrimmage of the preseason, and things just didn't go right from a quarterback standpoint all year, and that was the start of it. But credit Jason Brown, who transferred to Virginia Tech, who came in and won a couple of games late against Florida and Auburn when things were going poorly. But it was the quarterback situation was certainly a detriment to last year's offense. But that was part of the encouraging thing about what happened against North Carolina. They were able to get the ball in playmakers' hands, and the offensive coordinator went from a complete goat to maybe he's okay. Let's see what he can do. Maybe he's okay. And then you had a couple of receivers in tight ends. You mentioned a couple of the highlight guys, but Antoine Wells Jr. from James Madison, who set a bunch of single season records up there at that program, is transferred down here too. He could certainly end up certainly in the 2 deep, potentially as a starter. And they've got some weapons there on that side of the ball now for Spencer Rattler to throw to. So the wide receiver group was really limited last year, especially when you consider the quarterback situation. But they've got some real weapons out there now. And, that's not to mention, the returning guys, Josh Vann and Jaheim Bell and Zakarian Joyner, who was the MVP in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So, I think a big part of the reason for the positivity right now is what South Carolina's offense looked like in the bowl game, plus all the guys that they were able to add in from the portal.
Yeah, and
we've talked a lot about the offensive side, a lot of offensive additions, but do they have people coming back that are going to be able to stop the ball?
Well, that's a great question. And, South Carolina's defense, in my opinion, overachieved last season, and that was a big part of the reason they were able to get to that mark of 6-6 and attain bowl eligibility when no one really thought they would coming into the season. And they lost a couple of important guys. Most notably J.J. Mbare, a defensive end who was a 4-year contributor here and was drafted by the Packers this past season in the 3rd round, I think. So they've got to replace him, but they feel like they've got some star power over there right now. Cam Smith is a projected 1st-round pick at corner. PFF graded him as the top returning corner in the country this year. Zach Pickens has been projected by one mock draft as a 1st-round pick at the defensive tackle position. Jordan Birch is a former 5-star guy who started to come into his own a little bit, and Jordan Strawn on the opposite side of him. Those are 2 edge guys who they feel really good about. So, there's still some questions on for me at least at linebacker. They've got a couple of old guys there who just seem okay. They seem just good enough to be all right. But they've got some young guys there who maybe can maybe can be a little bit more dynamic at those spots, bring a little bit more athleticism and speed. So defense is I'm not going to say a question mark in terms of like they could be really bad, but are those guys going to be able to outperform their abilities like they did last year? I don't know. They added one guy, Devontae Reed from Central Michigan down here is a starting safety. That position's really thin. Lost All-American Jalen Foster, who was a walk-on a couple years back and became an All-American. And they've got to replace him with Reed. And besides they've really got 2 or 3 guys that they feel really good about at the safety position. So the secondary is a little bit of a question mark, but Clayton White is phenomenal, and I think he'll get that thing right this year.
No doubt. And John, I know it's really going to come down to the schedule this year is interesting because there's a lot of challenging road trips. At Arkansas in week 2 is very, very interesting. At Kentucky on October the 8th. At Florida because they embarrassed the Gators last year and whipped them in Williams-Brice Stadium. And then at Clemson for the huge rivalry. So, and you've still got home games with Tennessee, with Georgia. So it's going to be an interest, and Texas A&M, and I'll be the biggest Gamecock fan in the world when Texas A&M comes to town because everybody knows what I think of Jimbo Fisher, a.k.a. Dirt Neck. But I'm going to be interested to see in year 2 what the progress Coach Beamer can make. Is the expectations another bowl game and maybe making the next step, maybe to 8 wins?
Yeah, I mean, I think you view 8 wins, that number I think is a realistic goal. But you look at the schedule, and South Carolina's permanent opponents with Texas A&M, but hadn't beat them since they came into the league. As you mentioned, you go to Florida and to Tennessee, and neither of those things are going to be easy. And South Carolina I tell you what, Kentucky has been their kryptonite, their bugaboo for quite a while now after winning 14. It's been so long I can't even remember the number. I think it was 13 or 14 straight games over Kentucky. Now they've lost I think 7 of 8. I mean it's been really, really poor against the Wildcats. They got to figure out a way to go up to Kroger Field and win that one. But it's interesting. The Georgia State game that South Carolina opens up with is certainly a game that South Carolina should win. But Sean Elliott is their head coach there, and he was at South Carolina for a long time. He was born and raised in Camden, South Carolina, a little suburb of Columbia, and grew up coming to Williams-Brice Stadium every weekend. And it's going to be a special time for him. And they've gone to they've won 3 of their last 4 bowl games, including last season. So that's kind of a tricky game to open up with the first game of the season. Then at Arkansas is going to be incredibly difficult. Then Georgia at home. So it's a really tough start to South Carolina's season. Lightens up a little bit with Charlotte and SC State the next 2 weeks before Kentucky, and then a bye week before Texas A&M. But I think if you're trying to find a realistic goal, I think you look at 8-4 because there's some really challenging teams on the schedule who I think South Carolina is still just a little bit too far behind to go toe-to-toe with. But any given day, I guess, right? But Georgia, Clemson, Texas A&M, I mean, those 3, I feel like you've got to kind of assume are not going to be victories for you, and pull off 8 out of the other 9, and I feel like you've had a pretty good season.
No doubt. Well, John, we appreciate the time. Let everybody know how to connect with you over there at the Big Spur 24/7, and have a great 4th of July, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a pleasure to talk to y'all.
Thank you.
Let's get that break in. We're way behind. Last segment coming up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of medical emergencies that may be slowing things down. Got Units at University and Sparkman, also 72 in Wall Triana. Maybe a little bit of a traffic slowdown around both of those. Accident-wise, everything from earlier should be cleared out of the way now. Just a lot of folks scrambling, trying to get in on time this morning. Need a temp or an addition to your staff? Snelling specializes in admin, accounting, and medical placements. Snelling, how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Time keeps on slipping. Indeed, welcome back. Time does keep on slipping into the future. We are just about done with our morning here at Metro Diner. Don't forget, they are this week's Zone Deal. WZZN.halfoffdeal.com. You can get $50 worth of food for just $25 at Metro Diner. You get 2 certificates when you buy those, and those are good for any time here at Metro Diner. You can actually buy them from your phone, download them, and use them while you're here. It's that simple. WZZN.halfoffdeal.com. $50 worth of food for $25 to Metro Diner. You better hurry because there are just 12 left this morning. Actually, there are 11 left this morning. So get your deal before they are gone. Today is Friday, July 1st, and if you are counting at home, happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
There it is.
Today is the day that Bobby Bonilla gets
$1
paid.
million.
Gets paid. And I think, believe it or not, there are still 15 years left.
It was the greatest deal ever negotiated by an agent. I mean, good Lord, Bobby never has to work a day in his life.
He has 15 years left on Bobby Bonilla Day. Still over $15 million the New York Mets have to pay him. And the New York Mets also having to write a check today to Max Scherzer. Today kicks in the first of his $45 million payday. So the Mets writing a bunch of checks today. All right, very, very short time left. Brandon's with us. Good morning, Brandon.
What's up?
Hey, guys, don't forget about the Bruce Sutter contract. I met that man. He's got $1.12 million every year for the last 30 years, and then he got $9.1 million in a final payoff this year.
Yeah.
40 saves.
Look at that.
Now, the Mets could write a $15 million check if they wanted to and buy out the Bobby Bonilla contract and not have to worry about it. But,
yeah.
Good advertisement for him.
Probably so.
Oh, yep. So
Did
happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Did Jerry Jones ever finish paying off Deion Sanders?
I don't know. That's a great question. If he paid off Coach Prime or not, that's a great question. Well, hey, man, appreciate you calling in. Have a great 4th. Any other thoughts?
That's going to do it for this 2 hours of Talking Ball. We're going to be back at it tomorrow morning tomorrow afternoon from 1 to 3 at University Kia. It is a special Saturday edition of Talking Ball. I've gotten my fill here at Metro Diner. 2 pancakes, an omelet, and hash browns.
You ate it all during the show. I don't know how you do it. I can't do it. I'm fixing to put my order in. But come out here to Metro Diner, and I guess we're down to almost less than 10 of these things. We've almost
sold
11.
Out. Yeah,
we're at 11.
So
11 and counting if you want to get your $25 or $50 worth of food at the Metro Diner.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow afternoon, 1 to 3, University Kia.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and